Hi guys, I hope you're well. So I support all Arsenal players. I all want them to do well, but sometimes you have to be a bit ruthless. Now, how did you think Martinelli played in the last game against Liverpool? I thought it was a lackluster performance going forward, but he did fulfill his duty in defending. So Arteta, he did set out his store to be quite defensive, and it kind of makes sense. You're going to Anfield early on in the season. If you can get a draw or nick an away win, that's a fantastic result. So even Slot said that 8 out of 10 times it would have been a draw, one Liverpool, one for Arsenal. So both teams played quite conservatively. So I feel a bit bad singling out a particular player, but Arteta had Eze on the bench. So why didn't he play him? Why did he just bring him on in the 70th minute? Well, let's have a little closer look at Martinelli. So we'll look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's bring this up here. Let's shift myself over here. Now, let me go back here. So the good, well, Martinelli, he drove forward. So you can see here, he's pushing the Liverpool defenders back. And here we have a 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a 4-on-4. You can see Madueke is providing the width. We have Marino. He's acting as almost like a striker here, arriving late into the box. So these two Liverpool players on the wing, they are occupied. So Martinelli is driving forward. And here you can see Gyökeres is on the shoulder of Konate. Now, Martinelli has a decision to make. Now, often there's a criticism of Martinelli that he dribbles with his head down, he's looking at his feet, and this causes him to make bad decisions. But here he has his head up, and you can see Gyökeres has increased his stride length. So if Martinelli plays the ball right now into space, it gives Gyökeres an opportunity to drive forward with the ball. Now, in football, there's no guarantee. You don't know how well Gyökeres would have done. But a lot of football is about timing, about seeing the opportunity and taking the opportunity, because you don't know what will happen. So this is an ideal opportunity for Martinelli to play the pass. It doesn't even have to be a fantastic pass, because you can see Gyökeres is on his bike. He's ready to go. But let's see what happens next. So here Martinelli keeps running. So we have the bad. He keeps running, but now he's got his head down. He's closer to Gyökeres, and this causes Gyökeres to check his run to stop being offside. So here Gyökeres may be offside, so he has to check his run. And the moment has passed. In a second, the moment has passed. So it's about making those quick decisions and going for it. Now Martinelli dribbles into Gyökeres' direction, and at this point I think Martinelli is just on autopilot. It's in him now to get to the byline and get a corner or have a cutback. So that opportunity to pass to Gyökeres has well and truly passed. So here Martinelli is in the box. He's occupying Konate. Now, he could play the ball back to Gyökeres, and Gyökeres could try to get a shot off, but Martinelli keeps going to the byline, You can even see Calafiori at the top, just thinking, oh no, what have you done? Gyökeres is still expectant. Something could happen, as a good striker should be. He's alert. Anything could happen. There's a tumble. The ball goes off Martinelli, out for a Liverpool goal kick. And this just epitomizes where Martinelli is at the moment. His confidence is low. He isn't making those good passes. His performances aren't the best at the moment. So his confidence, his form is quite low. We have another example here with Calafiori plays the ball to Martinelli. So Martinelli is holding that width out there, which is good. So he's ready, he's available to receive the pass. So now he has a one-on-one with Szoboszlai. I apologize for the pronunciation. I know it's pretty bad. So here you would think, okay, Szoboszlai is not a natural right back. He's a central midfielder. And Martinelli, this is his bread and butter. So here you can see Martinelli. He's trying to square up Szoboszlai to slow him down, to make him square on. But Szoboszlai does a good job. He is side on, so he's able to change direction. Now, it's really disappointing because Martinelli just tries to play the ball. He just tries to play a pass, and I'm not quite sure what he's doing. Here, he should just drive to the byline, take on Szoboszlai, who is not a natural right back. And football is all about the small margins, as Arteta would say. So it's all about those small moments to then create those magic moments. And here, this moment has passed, and you can see where Martinelli is. So he's got his head down, he's disappointed, but he knows his worth as a defender. So he's going to run back, trying to make up the numbers, get the interceptions in. So that was quite disappointing. Here we have an opportunity. So there's a long ball, breaks for Martinelli. Now Martinelli has half a yard on Szoboszlai. Now the ball is bouncing, so it makes it a bit more difficult. But here you can see he's facing a right back who is not a natural right back. And instead of bringing the ball down, trying to compete for it, Martinelli goes down. Now it's quite interesting. Before this happens, Szoboszlai, he gives Martinelli a slight nudge, which is quite smart because he doesn't do it when he is close to Martinelli and Martinelli is close to the ball. He does it before Martinelli can get to the ball to put him off. And this is part of football. You're trying to put your opponent off in any way that you can to disrupt their rhythm. Because in training, things are perfect. You don't want to injure your teammate. Yes, you can play a bit rough in training, but a real match, when there are real stakes, this is something different. So Szoboszlai knows he's not a real defender. He's going to put Martinelli off, and it works. Martinelli goes down looking for the foul. It's not a real obvious foul, so it's not given. Now, this is the good about Martinelli. So here you can see, I'm not sure who this is, maybe McAllister, is driving into a central area. Here I've highlighted Martinelli. He sees this and he joins Rice in closing down the Liverpool player. Then Martinelli does a good job of dispossessing the Liverpool player, and we are able to attack. But here we can see you've got Rice, you've got Zubimendi. We want Martinelli to be attacking more, but he makes up the numbers in the center, so it gives Liverpool something to think about, that they can't go down the middle. Now, if we look at the goal and what happened, so here we can see Liverpool and Van Dijk. He plays a fantastic pass straight. Now, I think this is Curtis Jones, and Liverpool slot, they made some good substitutions on around the 60th minute, and they brought on Jones, and he immediately made an impact. He was more dynamic, and this pass is really interesting because here you can see there's a player here who's available for the pass, and you can see Jones, he's not really signaling for the pass. He doesn't have his hands out, so it's really, really smart if you think about it, because if he had his hands open, like pass me the ball, the Arsenal players would instinctively know, okay, let me shut him down. So here, this Liverpool player up ahead is like a decoy in a way. So you can see Zubimendi is getting sucked into that, and Rice is not really switched on, and he thinks the pass is not going to him. Van Dijk disguises the pass really well. This is the thing that I thought Liverpool did well, is that they disguised their passes. They didn't telegraph their passes. Arsenal did this a few times with Marino and Calafiori, trying to play passes or through balls, and it was just telegraphed, and Liverpool could easily intercept the ball. So I think when we are thinking about tactics, it's not just the players or the formation, it's everyone working together and understanding how can we set up traps for players. We can set up traps with language, with baiting the team onto one side. So here I thought this was fantastic, because it's a small thing, but it's huge. The Arsenal players don't think the ball is going to Jones. Why? Because Jones is jogging generally. It's a stark contrast to, for example, Martinelli, when he had the chance to play the through ball. He ignored the chance because he thought this is too obvious. Sometimes you have to play the obvious, sometimes you don't. So the amount of intelligence with this pass is fantastic. So Van Dijk cuts out Odegaard, cuts out Zubimendi, cuts out Rice with a simple pass straight down the middle. Now, what could Arsenal have done to have stopped this? Well, you can see, I think maybe Rice should have shuffled more over. You can see here, Szoboszlai is coming more into the centre. Gravenberch has gone out to cover the right side when he should be more central. So they've made a bit of a switch here. And it is also interesting to see that Martinelli is not on the pitch. So if Martinelli was on the pitch, it seemed like he was tracking Szoboszlai, and maybe Arsenal would have been a bit more narrow. But I think being more switched on in these situations, because here Zubimendi can't cover both players here, and Rice needs to be a bit more switched on. Maybe Rice thought if the ball is played to Jones, he could cover that distance. But Van Dijk's passes are really fast. He strikes the ball with so much pace that it gives you confidence as a Liverpool player that you're going to receive this ball. So he plays the ball with a lot of pace, and this effectively cuts out Rice. So you can see Jones can allow the ball to pass, turn with the ball, and here Rice he can't make up the distance. Now Zubimendi also can't make up the distance, so Zubimendi has to make a decision. He makes a tactical foul here to stop the ball from getting closer to goal. And he probably thinks, okay, this is a foul that I need to do to stop Liverpool's threat. So Zubimendi brings down Jones, and you can see here he probably thinks, okay, it's just something I have to accept. And here you can see in terms of Liverpool players, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacking here. So Zubimendi probably thought, okay, this is something that I need to do. Now, if we have a look at the lineup, I'm going to just make this a bit bigger. So in terms of Arsenal's lineup, in a way it made logical sense to have Martinelli on the left to start. But now in hindsight, and hindsight is always easy, maybe just start with Eze and bring Martinelli on later. Try to be a bit more attacking. Arteta went for control with Marino, Zubimendi and Rice in the middle, but there's not much creativity there. So we tried to stretch the play with Madueke, who I thought did a really great job. I thought he took on Kirkes. And you could see he enjoyed that battle, whereas Martinelli didn't. And you could see the number of corners Madueke won on that side, because I think in terms of corners, we had 4 or 5 outswingers, and in the whole of last season, I think it was just 4 outswingers. So it's interesting that we didn't get Madueke to take those corners, even if he's not good at corners. If all of our routine is set up around in-swingers, we had a couple of 100 in-swingers last season, get him to just train for that week just to practice his in-swingers. So that was interesting. But even then, I thought Rice, especially in terms of covering for that goal in the center, didn't do the best. So if we also have a look at Martinelli's heat map, so we can see Martinelli's heat map from his season when we thought he had a fantastic season, he was going to kick on, compared to last year's season. So you can see, let me make this a bit bigger, sorry. Okay, there we go. So you can see in the 22-23 season, there's a massive red in the corner. So he was a lot more productive and even defensively. But last year, that threat decreased a lot. So, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, what do you think he should do? I mean, in terms of Arteta playing Martinelli, let me minimize this and bring this over here. I think, like I said before, I support Arsenal players and I hope Martinelli can do well. We need him this year. We've already seen the impact injuries can make to the team. So having him there, even to make up the numbers, and in certain matches, we will need him. His confidence is going to be an all-time low, but we've seen him grow up with the club. We know that he loves the club. So it's nothing to do against him personally. It's just business. And hopefully Arteta can be ruthless when it comes to choosing players. Hopefully, with Eze playing on that side, that can provide competition for Martinelli. Hopefully it's not counterproductive. So hopefully it doesn't force Martinelli to think, he has to improve, and he stresses over it too much and things don't flow. So it can be counterproductive. Hopefully he can start to contribute, because we've seen that he can make big, have big moments in matches. So let me know, what do you think about Martinelli? Do you think he should be sold? Do you think he should be dropped? Where is he in the pecking order? I think it's, if Eze, Trossard are fit, where does Martinelli fit? Obviously, this also depends on the opponent, but in general, it feels like it's Eze, Trossard, and then Martinelli. So let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.